Geekles, I am back with your second video of the week. So we are going to continue working with our cardboard collagraph that we made, and we are going to be doing a print with it today. So I want you to grab your collagraph that you made earlier this week, and then I will give you a little demonstration on what we're going to do with it. So I'm going to have you grab a few things, and then I will give you the first step. All right, see ya.
Alright guys, so let's get started on our print using our cardboard collagraph that we created last time. So I have a towel, a beach towel, under my materials just because we're going to be using some water, and I just think that would be kind of a safe idea. So you could grab one of those to cover your surface or your table. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to grab all our materials. So we're going to need our collagraph. We're going to need a piece of paper. We are also going to use some markers, some washable markers, so nothing permanent, so no Sharpies or anything, so some markers. We're also going to use some water today, and you have a few different options. So I'm going to use a bowl with a clean sponge. But if you don't have one of those, you could use a spray bottle, that works too. Or if you don't have one of those, you can always just use a damp paper towel. That works just fine too. And then you're also going to need a piece of foil to cover your collagraph. So that's going to be our first step that we're going to do. And foil has two different sides. So one side is kind of a matte, dull side, and one is more of a shiny side. I'm going to use the matte side to cover the surface of our collagraph. So that's the first thing we're going to do. I'm going to lay my foil on top of my collagraph and feel around for the edges and just kind of make sure that it's covering the whole thing, okay? And just like when you were doing your rubbing with your crayon, your one hand is going to be very steady and your other hand is going to start to smooth the foil out to reveal your picture underneath. So I'm going to keep my one hand steady and still while my other hand is going to feel around for all the different parts of my collagraph, and I'm going to kind of press down pretty firm so that I can see all the different textures and all the different parts that I created the other day on my collagraph. And if you need some help, grab an adult, grab a brother or sister, and maybe they could help you keep your foil still while you go around and press. So I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to tuck my extra foil around to the back so that it doesn't come off. And I don't have any glue, I don't have anything like that. I'm just going to flip it over and kind of pull the edges over until I can see my cool design that I made the other day. All right, I'm going to keep tucking and rubbing, and I'll be back in just a second. Okay guys, so I folded my foil all the way around to the back. I didn't glue it down. And then I did one more nice little kind of smoothing out rubbing so that my collagraph design is revealed really, really well. Okay, so we're ready to add some color to our foil now. So I'm going to grab my markers and I'm going to just break them up into the warm and cool colors. So red, orange, yellow, and it's even rainbow colors too. Green, blue, and violet. And indigo's in there too. Indigo, remember, is just kind of a really, really dark blue. So it just kind of helps me with my design because I know my warm colors up here go really, really well together and mix really well together. And my cool colors, they go really well together as well. So I'm just going to kind of keep them together like that. So the next step is you are going to color all over your foil and give the whole space some color that we are then going to print on top of our piece of white paper that we had. So I'm going to go ahead and add some color to my foil, and I'll tell you the next step after that. with the marker, and you can see that I covered in every spot, but some of my markers kind of resisted the foil a little bit, and that's okay. If yours does that, that's not a big deal as well. So here comes the really fun and exciting part. So I'm going to kind of slowly move my Collagraph over, and I'm going to grab my piece of white paper and my water and my clean sponge. And I'm going to use the soft side of my sponge, not the rough side. And I'm going to squeeze a lot of the water out of my sponge. And just like when you were doing your rubbing the other day, hold your paper steady with one hand, and we are going to wipe our damp sponge over our piece of paper. Kind of hold it steady with one hand and wipe with the other. And when it starts to get wet, you're going to see your paper is going to want to curl. And that's okay, mine's curling too. Just try and keep a steady hand on it, or have somebody at home help you while you're wiping your paper. And we don't want any wet puddles, and we don't want our paper to be too dry, because then our marker is not going to appear. And we don't want it too wet, because then our marker will probably start to kind of smudge a little bit and smear. So we want it to be an okay, clear print. So I have my paper pretty damp, and I got all my corners are pretty damp. So the fun part is next. So we're going to slide our Collagraph back over, and I'm going to flip my paper so the wet side is going to touch the marker on our Collagraph. So I'm going to flip, and I'm going to make sure that it's going to cover the whole thing and lay it down, and then don't move it. So one hand is going to hold your paper steady, and your other hand is going to massage your paper. And you want to get all those little spots so you can get in between all your little cardboard pieces, and press, press, press all over. Massage your corners. Get all of the space. So one hand stays steady, the other hand keeps massaging. And I know I have really tiny details up here on this flower, so I'm going to make sure I use my fingers and even my fingernail and press my paper down in between those little flower petals, because I have marker in between those little crevices, and I want to get that marker to appear on my paper too. I'm going to get all the way down every corner, every spot. You can even have somebody hold it steady for you if you need to while you're rubbing and massaging your print. Alright, so I think I'm done, and I'm going to carefully peel my paper off to reveal our print. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Nice. So pretty! Look at that! It looks really good. I have one little spot over here that I maybe didn't press and rub enough. Yeah, because a lot of my markers still left on my foil, but that's okay. So the fun part is, this print is just one of a kind. It's special and very unique. We're gonna put it over to the side and talk about, well, what do we do now with this beautiful thing? So you can do another print with different colors if you want. So if I wanted to do another print, I could just use my damp sponge or a damp paper towel, and I could wipe off and dry off my foil. So it's kind of leaving a lot of the marker left, but that's okay. So I could use a clean paper towel and wipe that off, and then add different colors and do a different color print, because maybe I was like, oh, I didn't want to do a purple flower this time, maybe I wanted to do a red flower. So you can do print after print after print using this same Collagraph. Or if you were done with your printing and you didn't want to do anymore, you could wipe it off, dry it off, and use permanent markers and color right on the foil, maybe with Sharpies or a different kind of permanent marker. And then this beautiful tinted or metal foil could become its own piece of artwork in addition to your print that you made. So I hope you guys had fun, and I hope you had a good time trying something new. If you decide to give it a shot and you make a beautiful print, just take a picture of it, send it to me. I'd love to see it. And I would love to see your Collagraph covered with foil too, just so I could see both. So give it a shot, let me see how it goes.
All right, Clark Eagles, so I wanted to say one more thing before I left. So after you do your print, and if it happens to not come out very clearly, I don't want you to give up. I think that sometimes we might not add enough water, or sometimes we add too much water. Sometimes just trying something new for the first time doesn't give us the end result that we were hoping for. So I don't want you to get frustrated. I don't want you to get sad or upset if your first print doesn't come out very well. It's okay. So just do what I kind of just said. Just kind of wipe your foil off, dry it off, and then do it again. Try it again. It's okay. I want to show you one more thing. So before I did my flower Collagraph, I ended up trying this out a few weeks ago for the first time. And I did my first Collagraph, and it's a cityscape. So I don't know if you can see it. There's a few different buildings I have going across with some different kind of textures and windows on top of it. And I want to share with you my first print off that one. So that was my foil Collagraph. And then this was the print that I got off of that one. So I even used black for like the background and the sky. So just because I used the rainbow colors doesn't mean that you have to. So if you want to use the neutral colors like black and gray and tan and white, leave spaces white, that would be okay too. So give it a shot. Let me see what happens. And I hope to hear from you soon. All right, bye guys.